Okay, so good day class. So I'm your instructor for Building Technology 5, which is about advanced construction technology. For our lecture this week, I'm just going to introduce you to some of the technologies that are existing today. So let's start with our lecture. So construction industry is repeatedly criticized for being inefficient and slow to innovate. So the basic methods of construction techniques and technologies have changed little since Roman times. The application of innovation in the construction industry is not straightforward. Okay, so uh, our technology class, especially here in the Philippines, what was 20 years ago is basically the same thing just being adapted, especially when you look at small projects such as residential buildings. So if you look and observe a lot of our construction workers, they don't know how to use even power tools, which is quite really having a negative impact on our efficiency, and which makes us lagging behind more advanced countries. That is why it is important for us to adapt new technologies and adapt to new trends so that we can be more efficient and we can build better infrastructure for our nation. Okay? So every construction project is different. Every site is a singular prototype. Construction works are located in different places and involve the constant movement of personnel and machinery. In addition, the weather and other factors can prevent application of previous experience effectively. So what this statement means, class, that I think you have learned that in your design subjects and your previous building subjects that each and every project is unique. It's because when you build a project in a certain location, it does not mean that the factors are the same, maybe the same if you build it on a different location. That is because every site is different. There might be a difference in topography, there might be a difference in how you source the materials, and there might be a difference in the weather conditions also, and also with the soil conditions. Okay? So the term advanced construction technology covers a wide range of modern techniques and practices that encompass the latest developments in materials technology, design procedures, quantity surveying, facilities management services, structural analysis and design, and management studies. Incorporating advanced construction technology into practice can increase levels of quality, efficiency, safety, sustainability, and value for money. However, there is often a conflict between traditional industry methods and innovative new practices, and this is often blamed for the relatively slow rate of transfer within the industry. So, can you think, class, why there's a conflict between traditional industry methods and innovative new practices? For me, I think the reason there's a conflict is that those who are already the work, those who are used to traditional industry methods have a hard time adjusting using different methods. Okay? So I think this is the primary reason why there is a slow rate of technology transfer in our industry. The adoption of advanced construction technology requires an appropriate design, commitment from the project team, suitable procurement strategies, good quality control, appropriate training, and careful commissioning. So this means that when you design something, class, you have to take into account what appropriate construction technology that you're going to use. Make sure you already have an idea in your mind, okay, when you design. Then, of course, it requires the commitment from the whole project team. So if they're not committed using that particular technology, then you're going to have a lot of resistance which will hamper your progress. Then you need to have suitable procurement strategies because some materials might be available on a certain site but not available on another. Then you have to have good quality control, appropriate training, and careful commissioning. So, advanced construction technologies are commonly described as, amongst many others, advanced forms of 3D printing, materials, building information modeling, cladding systems, computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing, computer, numerical control, construction innovation hub, construction plant, modern methods of construction, modular construction, off-site manufacturing, prefabrication and pre-assembly, research and development, site investigations and surveying, substructure works, water engineering, temporary works, smart technology, robotics, and GPS control. Okay? So this is an example of 3D printing. So 3D printing is referred to as additive manufacturing. Is a computer-controlled sequential layering of materials to create three-dimensional shapes. So this is particularly useful for prototyping and for the manufacture of geometrically complex components. Okay, so when you use 3D printers, class, I think it increases your creativity also, and the kind of structure that you're going to produce, because if you're going to use human workers have limitations with their skills. But if you're going to use 3D printers, since it is guided by technology and robotics, it will be easier to do more complex shapes, which in turn would give you more creative freedom, and you can create shapes that are impossible to be built with the human hands. Okay? Then, in the construction industry, 3D printing can be used to create construction components. So you're going to print different components or to print entire buildings. So I've heard that in China that they're able to print entire buildings. This is something that I hope will be adopted in our country as well. Then construction is well suited to 3D printing, as much of the information necessary to print an item will exist as a result of the design process, and the industry is already experienced in computer-aided manufacturing. And the recent emergence of building information modeling in particular may facilitate greater use of 3D printing. So I think since you're already in your third year, you're already well versed with different computer-aided design, drawing, drafting technologies such as Lumion, AutoCAD, 3D Max. So when you say about BIM, you're going to use information to build your building. So when you design the building, you could already generate its project management data. You could generate the bill of quantities, the bill of materials. Then you're going to have your drawing sheets, which is really great. I think that is the future also, and it would make more efficient, more accurate planning in the future. Then you also have this term, which is cladding. I think a lot of you are already familiar with it. So I think this example class is a building in Riyadh. This is a library building. I think I've seen it once, twice, or thrice when I went to Riyadh a few years back. So the term cladding refers to components that are attached to the primary structure of a building to form non-structural external surfaces. So in this case, class, that building attached what you call tensile structures outside, which really looks cool because it creates some sort of three-dimensional depth for the building. So while cladding is generally attached to the structure of the building, it typically does not contribute to stability, and it only plays a structural role transferring wind loads, loads, no loads, and its own weight to the structure. Then we also have the modern methods of construction. I think this will be our main focus for this course. We'll discuss them in greater detail in the next weeks. So since the Second World War desperate need to deliver new housing quickly. Modern methods of construction, MMC or smart construction, has been promoted as a way of working more effectively to achieve more without losing more. So it centers around the use of off-site construction techniques that can benefit from factory conditions and mass production techniques. So basically, class, the term means that you're going to manufacture components of a building off-site, and you're going to assemble them back in the site. I think this is much faster because you'll have a lead time when you finish your designs. You can already use fact, management techniques, just like what you do in factories to manufacture each component. Then you're going to transfer them all, build them at the site. Then let's move to robotics. So advanced technology is changing the construction industry. So the proliferation of context, so that's the intersection of tools associated with construction technologies having impact on everything that is digitally connected. Okay, so I think primary advantage of robots is that you can reach places which are dangerous to humans, and then you can also do more accurate, produce more accurate components. Okay? So as technology becomes more advanced, it's expensive, simpler to use, and more efficient, its adoption is gradually increasing. So this is particularly true in the case of robotics. So robotics relates works executed by automated machinery. So it's a form of content that is typically used for repetitive tasks, dangerous tasks, heavy lifting, and so on. So if you have repetitive tasks in your project, it is much better to use robots. And if there are tasks that are too dangerous for human beings, so you can send robots instead. And you can also use them for heavy lifting and so on. So for example, class is an example of the use of robots in the construction industry. So it will be more accurate and quite useful, especially if you are the one planning or scheduling the project, because you'll have an idea of how much that particular equipment or robot or machinery can finish in a day. Okay, compared to human beings, last which are harder to manage, the use of using robots is more predictable. So this is really good for project planners. Okay, so it's an example of robots in the construction industry. As you can see, example, the robot is welding the steel. Okay. But the advantage is that you have a computer to analyze your works. Okay. Then I think that's it for this week. So just have an introduction. So if any questions, you can email me or you can send PM or messenger or write a message on our Facebook page. Okay, so I'll be writing your activity for this week in our Facebook page. Be sure to keep updated always and submit your requirements on time, especially if you have scholarships. Okay? So I don't want you to have low grades also, but you have to do your part as students. That's what I have. That's what I tell in my professional practice class. Okay, so the practice of architecture as a profession is not a human right, but it is a privilege granted by the state. So therefore, class, do your best to become architects that are worthy of the name. Okay, so you have to know this basic knowledge and you have to master them eventually somehow. Okay, so see you next meeting and stay safe.